Welcome home, brave space cadets. I'm Ash. This is Ash Quest. Or should I rename the channel to Ash Mission? Because today we are on a mission, and we've even got our special Space Crusade board background. Yes, this is the original. And I've got a couple of set dressing pieces. We're going to throw a couple of orcs. That's orc with a K. Vastly different from the orcs with a C. And some nice Blood Angel Space Marines from Space Crusade to do battle with them. However, this video isn't about the Space Crusade game, the orcs, or the Marines. This video is about me going to my local Dollar Tree / Dungeon Tree / Derelict Ship Tree and buying every single Final Faction figure that I could to see if they would homebrew well with a custom game of something based in the Warhammer 40K universe. I will never financially recover from this, just so you know. You have a mortgage? That's cute. I bought every Final Faction. All right, so Final Faction is something that should be available at your local Dollar Tree / Family Dollar hybrid store, and it is comprised of a number of alien baddies and good guy mechs, and also a bunch of humans. Boo! But the cool thing about the line, unlike other toy lines, is that you can just buy the equipment kind of separate, and you can affix the equipment onto select enemies or humans of your choice. And you can go on kind of creating a customized army for yourself. Now, there's not like a game necessarily attached to this line of toys. Yeah, there is a comic book, which you can also find, but notably everything here is $1.25 USD. Everything. This is $1.25 USD. This is $1.25 USD. This is $1.20. You get the point. And so the orcs here on the board may very well cost more per capita than all this stuff combined, but we're going to go ahead and get into unboxing this stuff because I've already claimed it on as an expense as of like the very beginning of this year, and I've been sitting on these things a long time, and it's time to open them, throw away the packaging, and give away the toys when I'm done. I've got a nephew who might really, really like what's about to happen here. But that brings me to the Space Crusade setting. We've got our orcs, we've got our Space Marines, our Blood Angels, and I'd like to see kind of how these scale when we throw them all together. So we've got automated drone P-131. There's actually a cartoon as well, I guess. There's cartoon details on the back, and you can kind of see all of the limited edition elite soldiers, which most of these are at my local store, but I didn't buy any of the humans. I don't think I have a single human in any of this because it just seemed too lame. It's lame to have humans. Those humans are no Space Marines. That's it. Here's our first one. So this is interesting. This is interesting. He's not static. He is really able to move around a lot. He's highly mobile. We've got ball joints, I suppose. There's even like flex and tilt to these legs. That's incidental. I don't think that was intentional. I think that's just part of the manufacturing process. But he stands up beautifully, very level. He's easy to throw on the board. He's got different positions he can be put in. He can even stay in those positions if you move him around. And so automated drone P-131 works beautifully, at least if you're into homebrewing for 40K. I don't know how possible or reasonable or practical it is to do this because I feel like 40K might be full of a crowd of people who believe this should be a lot more pure than, say, the Hero Questers when you throw random monsters from other games at them, but I could be wrong. Let me know if that's a true statement. The head is even on a minor swivel. Ah, man, that's so cool. That's so cool. That guy's cool. I like him. He's neat. We're moving right along into the Hive class synthoid, and there's nothing stopping you from grabbing multiples of these despite their giant size. You could just as easily have 10 or 20 of them. Oh, God. Okay, so the arm just came right out, but it pops right back in. No big deal. They're removable. They go back in. They don't really fall out. They just happen to pull out. Again, made of a bit of a rubbery material and also has no problem moving around. The design is really cool. This is an awesome looking science fiction monster. The arms do rotate in their sockets. They're just kind of held in by tension, but again, they're not going to fall out. He will maintain the pose that I set him in, and he's much bigger than the robot. Of course, these guys are completely out of scale with the Space Crusade stuff because they're not meant to be played with a miniatures game. But that's what we're going for. That's what we're looking at right here. And in my mind, new class of Tyranid. $1.25 for this giant class of Tyranid that has been affected by the warp. I'm just pulling stuff. I'm just making stuff up, guys. It's not serious. It's not serious. Please don't attack me with any sort of purist stuff. Brute is next. This is a hive class, and this guy looks really cool in his packaging. So we're gonna bust him right out. And he even comes with his own gun, which is also pretty awesome. It's got a handle, rubbery material. Again, looks very alien-like. You could use this with other creatures, I suppose, as well, as long as they have the grippiness in the hand. We'll just put this right in his hand. Went right in, no problem. Look at him. He's looking at it like, what gun? Gun pew? Gun go brr? I like his face. I really like his face. I like the colors on these guys. The purple with just a spattering of silver. It's not like a professional paint job or anything, but this looks like what the alien might look like if you ran out into the wild and ran into him. So really cool. Again, giant Tyranid. We're moving right along. This is a hive class drone, and yes, another weapon to come with this guy. This time, weapon is a bit of a short blaster with a blade on the end. Should fit in his hand pretty easily, and it does. I actually love the fit there. The drones kind of just look like your typical mobs. They're very bug-like as far as their legs go. Upper half is pretty humanoid. They kind of look zombie-like. Red eyes, head tilts on a swivel. Stands pretty easily. Very balanced, well-balanced figures. I gotta hand it to the creators of this. They're cheap, but they're not cheap. They're inexpensive. Another one of the good guys. This is part of the ACRM Augmented Combat Rescue Mech from the Alpha Team 1. Get him out. He doesn't have any sort of weapons or anything. He's got holes in his hands, but also in a lot of other places that kind of indicate or imply that he should be able to hold something, or that you should be able to affix something to him, but I believe they're just screw holes. They're just screw holes. Again, everything swivels. You can't really pull anything apart. Now, if you'd like to have a sort of diorama set up where the robot is, he's surrendering. He's surrendering to this giant Tyranid with a gun. I would too. By the way, if at this point you're still not convinced that these could be part of your Warhammer lore, all you have to do to justify it is just say the orcs had a bad dream about Tyranids and they believed that the dreams were real, and this is what the result was. The power of orc belief is beyond human comprehension. If we look at the back of this, we have a series of power ratings for each of the characters, which I thought was pretty interesting, given there's not really like a game attached to any of this. There are stats, there are power ratings, so the kids that play with this can kind of have an arbitrary idea of who's stronger and whose dad can beat up whose other's dads. This is Bounty Hunter Crepitus, and he is a character rather than a mob. He is a named character, and he's one of the bad guys, one of the Karn, and just rip him right out of his packaging. He has the bug legs and some additional tendril action going on here. He's got some braided warrior hair, a very mean expression on his face. I tell you, I would have been thrilled to play with these as a kid. I had access to some of the best action figures in kid history. I was alive during the golden era of the 90s, where we got awesome stuff like X-Men. Wait, how does this work? Is there a picture on the box? Not really. What? This gets put into a hole. Oh, here we go. Yes, right on the back of his wrist. That makes sense. That's cool. And we have room for another weapon, which he does come with another weapon. It is a jagged blade. Looks really cool. You kind of have to see it for what it is to get it. If you just ran into that into the wild, you'd not really get it. But he's also got, what's this? What is this? Is this a helmet? Does this go onto his face? No. What is this? I gotta tell you, part of the fun is trying to figure out what the heck these things go to. Now, this has a bit of a little divot in it, and I was kind of convinced that his pointy chin went into it, but that does not seem to be the case. Okay, I think I found it. It's this section right here, right? So I should be able to, whoop. Okay, yeah, I think that's where he goes. Right on the pauldron of this guy's armor. It's alive. It's a little buggy that's alive, so we can go around and scout for intelligence and bring it back to him. Makes sense to me anyway. Makes one think of mechanics, I would say. Now, there is a set of equipment for the Karn humanoid characters. It says here, this is Drone Scourge. And we've got 3 pieces of gear. Really cool idea to have this stuff super inexpensive and packaged separately. I don't know how much of a risk factor there is involved with doing things this way, but I particularly love this idea. So we have a weapon here with a peg, and it looks like a melee weapon, but you could just as easily say that it shoots lasers or whatever. And it has the most archaic cryptic text here. Greenbrier International Incorporated, along with a huge number. I guess that's a sort of serial number, but that must be the science fiction intergalactic company that created this weapon. Now, I'm going to break the rules. Oh, I can't break the rules. Whoops, no rule breaking. Okay, there is a hole right here in this guy's arm, and I think that should attach to that. Am I wrong? I'm very wrong. That does not go in there. Karn humanoid characters, what are you talking about? These guys don't grip things like that. I guess I could just put it in his hand, just squish it in there. Yeah, I mean, that's fine. That should work all the same. That's fine. It looks menacing. It looks like something to hit with. I don't think anybody's going to be particularly angry if I do things this way. That looks even better, actually. Yeah. Okay, so it'll just fit in their hands. They just grab it by the center, but there's a peg just in case I want to fit it somewhere. I'm not sure where I would fit it yet, though. We're only about halfway done here, so let's get a move on. This is the Perimeter Defense Decimator, and it looks awesome. We're going to open this up before we take another look at our diorama in its current state. This guy, very alien looking, one body with a head that swivels and 3 legs that all have their own movement. It's got this wicked purple stinger in front with all of this sort of alien body. Looks like it could shoot something, a stinger of some kind, but that's actually going to happen with its head up here. We know this because we have the old cross-shaped missile that goes into the cross-shaped hole, and then this probably shoves in till it clicks, and no, that's not quite. There we go, it did. And then there's a button on top of the head here, so click, there we go, and then pow, boom. Oh, okay, there it goes. There it goes. Takes a little bit of work. You shove it all the way in, you aim, you fire, boom. Oh, it flew across the table. Very low velocity, but since this is for ages 3 and up, it's probably a good thing. Kind of funny that there's not a warning on here. Oh, there it is. Do not aim at a person's face or eyes unless they are a miniature. Let's go back and see if we can't attach this to somebody. Humanoid characters, Karn humanoid characters. So you guys have holes on your back. You all have holes on your back. That's what this stuff is for. It's optional armor. It's not really sized to fit that. You got to kind of shove it in there, but that's okay. Now this guy, once a lowly humanoid drone, now has tendrils from a symbiotic alien on the back that is ready to defend its host for a mutual benefit of staying alive. We have what look like, seriously, 2 buzzsaw blades affixed to the end of tendrils. Man, this has taken me back to the 90s, and I don't even have specific memories of this. I just have nostalgia unlocking. Guy looks really cool up here on the board in this science fiction area with all of these lovely colors. We've got one more thing. I assume this is going to go over their arm, or perhaps they're going to hang on to this section right here. And I'll go ahead and give this to, well, I'll put it in his hand. So that's the idea anyway. That's what I think I'm going to do. That's not how that works. How about, nope, that's not quite right. So this does go on the drone, and this does fit over his hand like so. Packaging does specify his right hand. So that's it. That's how that goes on there. I feel a little silly not having checked the back of the box to see all of that stuff. I even have instructions on this part here. The Shaitan. This vicious dual-pronged weapon bridges the distance between enemies in most painful fashion. The claw gauntlet weapon here is the Luminar, an energy weapon of extreme power. This handheld firearm hits whatever Shaitan cannot reach, okay? And the Druxil, inspired by a serpent on the Karn homeworld, this back-mounted cannon is capable of firing venomous rounds that dissolve any surface, etching fear into all Karn enemies. I wasn't getting launch vibes from this, but I mean, why not? Sure, it can also launch venomous missiles. Okay, that's fine. I accept it. It's fine. And the guy looks awesome with this stuff. This isn't really wanting to stay on, which is a bit problematic. But maybe the more we kind of twist, no, it's just, that's going to fail. That's going to be a bit of a issue. Is Ash really complaining about these $1.25 figures not functioning perfectly? No, I'm not really complaining. Not really. I'm kind of, it's a fake complaint. It's a faux criticism. I mean, you get a jail out of free card, get out of jail free because of the accessibility. So whatever. Moving on, we are going to move on to an X4 turret for perimeter defense. This time we're giving our heroes, whoa, that was practically already open. This time we're giving our heroes a fighting chance in this war against giant aliens. We have not one, but two missile weapons that go in here, and they fire individually. These buttons on the top will launch them at the enemies, and they fire really, really well, actually. And this is a 360-degree directional turret on 4 legs that all move autonomously. This guy, 100% worth the $1.25 I spent on him. Now we've got some turret weapon that can move around. You can place this in rooms and they can fire at whatever line of sight you have going on. We've got another set of Karn weapons, this time Evolution. This works with synthoids only. Finally, because this is our synthoid, so we get a return to this guy, and this is all of his optional armor. This brings the total cost of this particular toy up to $2.50 USD to have this guy and then have him outfitted with all of his optional accessories and armor. And this time we're going to be smart and read the descriptions. There's actually a lot that comes with this. He undergoes metamorphosis here. Azora, a tentacled nightmare. Azora reaches out and entraps enemies before the synthoid drags them to their doom. Katagoth, the plasmoid discharge of the Katagoth cripples man and machine, leaving both torn asunder. And Wythrim, with the dragon-like wings of Wythrim, the synthoids are able to take their warfare airborne, bringing destruction from every angle. I gotta give them A+ for really digging into and making this lore theirs. The Brute has a striker set, and I guess I didn't find that. But let's take a look at these components. This gun is awesome. It is enormous. This guy is going to get some yeah, that's quite a big sized handle. Quite. No, I'm sorry. That's not what that's for. That's replacing his arm. Had the instructions right in front of my face. Didn't bother to look at them. So it's evolved. It is now an arm-mounted cannon. It's more like a shoulder-mounted cannon, but it's a cannon that replaces your arm. I guess we can actually pretend like its arm has gone into this thing, so it's like a weapon that it can acquire and also lose, or you can just, say that it evolved to have this. Then our other one is also an arm replacement. It gives it a bunch of tendrils. Really makes it stand out. Okay, and these leafy wings are actually pinned onto the back with these lovely posts that are decorative in nature as well. Easiest way to deal with this is to go ahead and try to shove these into their holes first. That does take effort. These things are very tightly toleranced. And then it's no easy feat to actually shove that peg all the way in. So I'm just not gonna do that. That seems to want to go in just a little bit of the way and then it stops, but you know what? That's fine. And this was made on the planet of China. Ooh, our arm fell out. Let's put that back in there. I'm going to need to evolve myself to get the strength needed to shove these into these monsters. Okay, his balance is a little bit different now. You may have to bend him downward a little bit, which is fine because now he's going to loom over the smaller enemies. It's time for glamour shots. This is the Blood Angel unit with their new turret opening fire on the encroaching, warped tyranid menace that the orcs have somehow conjured up with their imaginations, simply making them real. And if that sounds completely nonsensical to you, my friend, Warhammer 40K lore is quite out there. Checking out our Daka is we. This is a P-131 drone, and this is going to look very similar to the drone that we already unboxed, and that is because this guy, wouldn't you know it, he is the exact same. I accidentally got two. All right, well, that simplifies the presentation of that one because we've already done it. Next up, we're going to unbox the Huntra perimeter defense for the Khan, of course. The Khan are awesome, all right? I am reliving childhood here, and this stuff didn't exist back then. This would have been an insanely great deal at $1.25, even when I was a kid in the 90s. I was, whoops, I hit that button accidentally. They really do fire pretty well. That one didn't. They really do fire pretty well. They've all gone onto the floor, which I feel is the ultimate goal of any projectile toy weapon, to fire into the most inconvenient place possible. This guy has a really cool face on the front. It's a big bug bioweapon. I like him. These are sets of 2 legs, and 2 legs swivel at a time on the same part. Again, the turret itself is able to be moved by itself. This guy's awesome. This guy might be one of my favorites. Just going to put him off to the side and open up our next one. The Crawler. The Crawler. Now's a good time to probably show my Patreon ad so that I can try to make some of the money back that I spent on these guys. Okay, I hope you didn't skip through that. These Crawlers are really cool. There's 2 of them in the pack. Again, 4 completely separate legs. Production cost on these guys could not have been super low. The front 2 arms are autonomous as well. And there's 2 of them to the pack. Really cool to have 2 enemies in the same pack. Gives us a bit of a army point system thing going on, a feeling that you're building something. And these guys aren't like super lightweight. This is not hollow plastic. Some of these guys are surprisingly heavy. I'm a fan. I am a fan. All right, next up is Venom. Poisonous Edition. The Rumbler, that's the name of this thing. We're gonna open this thing up. Comes in a box. Again, I know it's a whole box, but it's just $1.25. And the Rumbler is a vehicle that another one of the creatures will be able to pilot. And I have that creature as well, but let's go ahead and put together the Rumbler before we do anything else. This is the Rumbler completely unboxed. We have 2 giant green wheels made in 90s kid toy plastic, which I love. We could homebrew this stuff and make it into something completely different for Space Quest or Star Quest, Space Crusade, whatever. Hero Quest. We have a small wheel as well. We have, I'm not sure what this thing is, but we only have the one, and then we have the body of the Rumbler. We have a bit of instruction on how to put this together, I think. Not in the slightest. Oh, it doesn't go like this. It goes like this. So your monster can sit in the body here. It's got an exoskeleton, anti-infantry lasers, an earth core melter, Rumbler vertebrae wheels. We should just go right ahead and snap those bad boys in. Yeah, that is how we do it. I'm a fan. Not sure what this is. Yeah, here we go. These 2 fit into the holes in the back here, so they'll just snap in. I got it backwards, I guess. Once you know the direction to push it in, it just goes right in as it's intended to. And then this last wheel fits through the hole on that attachment. And there you go, the completed Rumbler, which is a 3-seat deal. That didn't go in all the way. I didn't push that in the right way either. There we go. That's the way it should function. There we go. Rolls around, very fluid, very easy. Oh man, that just feels right. The Rumbler has an armor and weapons pack, which is completely optional and something that I didn't find. Wait, no, I did. This is the Poisonous Edition weapons and armor pack for the Rumbler. So we are immediately going to affix all of this stuff onto the Rumbler. It comes with an armored Scorpion whip and armored Thrasher claws. These Thrasher claws look amazing. They feel great too. Rubbery, not gonna break. And of course there is a spot right here on the front for these bad boys. I'll just shove and twist them right in. And then we have a pair of really awesome looking but easy to fall out. There we go. Let's just put them all the way in. There we go, all the way in. They look awesome, very threatening. This thing is no longer balanced. It falls forward now, and that's because we don't have the tail in. And the tail actually is going to fit right here into this hole provided by the back wheel section of the Rumbler. Everything else will just kind of fit around that. Absolutely nuts. But now this thing, while it's a bit loose, it's very mobile. It moves around. And this thing is once again balanced. So $2.50 for this giant vehicle. Now it's time to unbox the last guy I have up here, and this is Diabol. Diabol is actually the creature depicted on the Rumbler's box. I don't think you necessarily have to use him. We'll test fit some of the other figures in that vehicle, but it's just a kind of a standard run-of-the-mill monster. Still looks really cool, looks very hellish, has a lot of red and pink, very muscular, very tendril, very bug-like with the legs yet again. The inverted, actually that's not inverted, this is just a really high heel. He's got high heels. Teeth on the chest. Yeah, absolutely insane monster. And if we just throw him little piggies up like this, we should be able to fit him right into, yeah. It's almost kind of a snug fit, really. He just goes right in there. And this whole getup is now at $375 USD. And that comes with your vehicle, the 3 wheels, the scorpion tail, the 2 claws, and a driver. This whole thing is just, it's hell on wheels is what it is. And it's, again, not super best balanced. It doesn't matter. None of that matters at all. It just drives around wreaking havoc on everything it touches. Now, are you going to be able to incorporate this into your miniatures games? Oh no, you are going to have fun just wrecking the kids and their choice of figures with it, just blah, blah. Because we all know if you have the biggest, coolest looking figure, that is also the most powerful character. And if you have that one, then you win. It doesn't matter what the game is that you're playing, you just win. You just blah. All right, so once we remove that guy from the board, we set our diorama back up for one more glamour shot, guys. You think I'm going to set all this up and not do the sound effects and music? Have you even been paying attention? Blood Angel Squadron B, report. They're overpowering us by a large margin, sir. Send reinforcements. Reinforcements sending. We're indicating a large entity approaching from the north. Look out. He's attacked friend and foe alike. Who is this creature? Remember, kids, it's okay to be miniatures agnostic. No matter the brand, follow the rule of cool and you'll always have fun. My work here is done. And that's what the Empire calls heresy. As promised, it both does and does not work with some of the other monster, bad guy, Karn figurines. Really depends on what you're trying to put in there and what kind of stuff they've got equipped. But I mean, something like this, you're free to shoehorn whatever you like. You've got a pass. You got to get out of jail free card. And that's it. Thank you so much for your kind attention and time. I'm going to make sure that nothing bad happened to my pricey Space Crusade miniatures during all of this nonsense. Oh gosh, are you okay? If anybody's got some extra gene stealers they want to send me, get in touch. I want to play Space Crusade with like 3 times the amount of gene stealers. All right guys, thanks for watching. I hope you all have a fantastic rest of your day and onward till next time.